When I was young, people always told me to be who I was. What the hell does that mean? I don't know who I am. So I want to change that a little bit, little addendum. Become who you are. Become who you are. Entelechia, baby.
Time goes by so slowly. Time goes by so slowly. Time goes by so slowly. Time goes by so slowly.
Now you wouldn't suspect it by looking at him. See, he looks like nice, peaceful geese. Geese are some of the worst little bastards you'll ever run into in your life. I've been attacked on multiple occasions like a wild goose coming out of nowhere. They got these like layers of teeth, like what's the great white shark. They have like layers of teeth that come out. I'm not even kidding. I was running one time and it came up, opened its teeth like that. I was like, geese are not your friends, man. I'll tell you that right now. Violent little creatures. You think you have me fooled, goose? I know the truth. René Descartes came up with the Cartesian plane, changed math forever, and when you really think about it, the Cartesian plane, it seems so intuitive that it's not even something you'd marvel at until you really think about how much that insight that gave, how much of an improvement to mathematics that had, how much of an effect that had, this butterfly effect on all of mathematics, analytical geometry, absolutely insane. And you read the philosophy of what Descartes was saying, what he did, and it makes you rethink your entire philosophy. He said, all right, all the dogma, yes, 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 but also no. I'm here now, yes, the history happened, but also I'm a human operating now and here, and I'm going to use my reason to understand the world as effectively as I can. I'm not going to be an idiot and just not listen to history at all, but at the same time, I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. And what came out of that was analytical geometry, like one of the most potent tools we've ever created as humans, intellectually speaking. But when you see the impetus of why that happened, the cause of it, far more powerful story. So René Descartes. Now, I haven't read a whole book. I like dates. I don't know the exact dates of when he did this. I'm making a presentation today. So, if someone knows the dates of like how long René Descartes spent doing this, I would just put them in the comments below. I guaranteed somebody must know this stuff. Unfortunately, I haven't read a whole René Descartes book yet. However, I highly recommend Discourses on the Method, or Discourse on the Method. Descartes kind of autobiographical thing, where he goes over how he came up with what he came up with. And he basically just said, I don't know what you guys are telling me, and, you know, a lot of it, I've seen conflicting stories, and everybody's adamant, but, like, do you really know what's going on? And he was like, all right, whatever. I'm going first principles here. I'm gonna back up, go myself, figure it out for myself. What is happening with everything? Like, what? Famously, cogito ergo sum, I think therefore I am. I don't know how many, I think it was 7 years. I've heard 7 years floated around, where he went and he was a soldier for a while in there, and all this time that was his main, he would return to this as a central theme of thought. What's going on? What are my first principles? How do I operate effectively in the world? The whole thing. And out of it, he birthed analytical geometry, this amazingly effective tool, as well as other philosophical stuff. I just find that an absolutely crazy thing. Just first principles. So, I mean, in the modern world with the internet age, there's just a barrage of information. I'm sure most of you have experienced that, where it's just like, I've seen compelling arguments for a lot of different things. So I like that method. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, but I'm gonna use my own reasoning facilities to try to understand the world. So data, myself, investigating the world, one-on-one and observation, trust that the most, and then that is a very effective method. That led to like insane, over and over again. This isn't just him that did this. Over and over again, this is just a very effective method of doing things. But you gotta make sure that in that, and he even said this, in that middle period, in that limbo before rebuilding his axioms for living and whatnot, it was sketched. He was very religious, so he had a religious faith, not the dogmatic religion, but he had faith that something was going on, and so he kept his morals while he did this. Anyway, very interesting stuff. I'm gonna have to go over this again and do a better biographical thing. I didn't do this that well. I just thought it was really cool. He just said, all right, screw it, I'm gonna figure it out for myself. Second thing happened today. You know the drill. Mathematical Introduction to Logic. Read for about a couple hours. Same thing. Had a bit of a nap in these you saw the lounge chairs in a couple other episodes. So I had one of those. I flip it up, my legs up. Had a bit of a nap. It seems like the blood rushes to my head and I'm just vibing. I'm vibing, dude. It's a vibe. It's a bop. It's summer now, so the library is usually pretty empty, so it's like double vibes. So it's like the only one in that whole floor. Is crazy. But yeah, so I got past chapter 1.1, the language of sentential logic, and I actually made a little bit of progress. The nap actually was the thing that clicked it. It was like, I had no idea what logic was, so the progress made today is that now I have an idea of what logic is a little bit. Basically, English is very fluffy. It's very uncertain. English is like, there's a lot of ambiguities in English, and we want, the main thing they're trying to do is let's come up with a rigorous way of speaking. That's kind of what's getting developed here, and so they come up with this logical language. Every truth statement you can say in English, like anything that's either true or false, like this is a book, or this thing right here is a book, As far as I can tell, you port that into this language. So you can make statements that are either true or false, and everything's rigorous, there is no ambiguities, and so you can kind of port, it's like a French or a German from, it's like English to French or German, but instead of English to French or German, it's English to like this weird abstracted math language. But it's a language nonetheless, and you can express things in it, and then from there they build up, later in the book, I'm assuming, a more logical framework. But that's our base, is like a very basic logical language, which has a lot of porting over into compilers, which I'm also very interested in. I dove into compilers a couple years ago, really got in the weeds there, and then realized that was actually one of the main impetuses for learning math deeply, was like, this is, what are you talking about? Like, and just in this today, it talked about like parsing different characters, and that was actually the thing in the compiler. Do I have the compiler book? This motherfucker. Just ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, it's deep, and he goes into, I mean, honestly, I skimmed it, and I didn't have enough knowledge of like what even, they assumed a pretty large basis in math, which I did not have at the time. But we're gonna return to this, because, you know, highly curious, and I want to figure this shit out. And this one too, I had this as well. I got a few others. I won't talk about them now. This one, I picked up the wrong book. There was another book called, I think, Minix was the one I should have learned. But even then, a lot of math, they used the word kernel, which I learned later. Oh, hold on. This puppy, I picked this up. I was like, algebra, I'll learn algebra. No. Well, dude, algebra is totally, ridiculously different than what I would have thought algebra was. I gotta come up with like an introduction to algebra for people who don't know what algebra is. There's gotta be a bridge from like normal algebra, because like algebra, it's a abstract algebra is, for me at least, I understand that it like encompasses normal algebra, but it's just totally different to somebody who hasn't seen what it is. It's like totally different than like typical algebra, what you'd think. I thought it was like an extension of algebra, not even close. In this book, I got to like page 25 and I was like, what am I doing? What? It was too early. I think it was like a couple years ago when I did that as well. But I just wanted to do this to illuminate that like path is all, we're gonna try to clear it up. But if you have run up to like a brick wall, I've had many of those, and then you just get taller and you can just hop over the brick wall that used to be like insurmountable. I bet I could probably read this book now. I don't want to, because I'm not really vibing with algebra at the moment, but I'm gonna get through this book one day. Apparently it's like the Bible of algebra. Where was I going with this? Huge tangent. Algebra, logical language, just return. Logical language is, I'm kind of vibing. Yeah, logical language, translated into, and that's the language that computer programs are written in. It's like a logical language. I don't know what Turing complete yet means, but I think that has to do with mathematical logic. So a lot of things are coming together in this book. I'm kind of hyped. But without further ado, that is going to be all for this kind of all over the map episode. Take it easy. I love ya. Godspeed. And I will see you in the next one, which is going to be tomorrow. Forgot that part.